So welcome everyone to the board meeting for second quarter of 2024. I call the meeting of the Board of Directors of Redox OS to order. When I state your name, please acknowledge your presence. Jeremy Solar.
Present.
Alberto Souza.
Present.
Jacob Schneider.
I'm present.
And I'm Ron Williams. We have a quorum. The first order of business is to approve the minutes from the previous board meeting. They're available on GitLab. And I've provided them to you for review. Does anybody have any corrections? If there are no corrections, the minutes are approved as distributed. The following items were decided by vote of the board between the last meeting and now. It was resolved that the nonprofit will accept donations via Bitcoin and Ethereum wallets, and Jeremy was authorized to create the wallets. It was resolved that Alberto's monthly stipend is increased from $400 to $800 to recognize the scope of his work, and Jeremy is authorized to pay it. It was resolved that $472 advance will be provided to Alberto. That's for a new computer. That's to be subtracted from the December stipend, and Jeremy is authorized to pay it. And I just want to confirm that that's everybody's understanding of that item.
Yep.
Okay. Are there any other concerns with this statement of resolutions? There being no concerns, the statement of resolutions is approved. Can I get a motion to have the treasurer give an update on our finances?
Move it.
Second.
Jeremy, could you provide an update on finances?
Sure. Our account balances at the end of last quarter and the end of last month are as follows. Our bank account as of March 31st had $25,920.77. That's in US dollars. And on May 31st had $28,975.35. Our credit card balance on those two dates is $915.20 and $2,239.63. On Teespring, we had a balance of $130.25 and $172.08. And again, those two numbers are on March 31st and May 31st. We have a Bitcoin balance as of May 31st of $67.50. That is taking the exchange rate at the time. We had an Ethereum balance on May 31st of $84.50, again, with the exchange rate at the time. So our total assets as of March 31st were $25,135.82. As of May 31st, $27,059.80. We have received funding from RadWorks of $12,566.30. Patreon and merch sales is slightly below the budget amount and is approximately $500 per month. Jeremy has donated $3,200, that is me, I'm reading the script, so that's my name, to cover the increased stipend for Alberto. Our typical monthly spending is now at $915.20. We have only identified one Redox Summer of Code project, although we have budgeted for two. Applying these changes to our annual budget, we now estimate $20,940 in expenses for the year, $21,526 in income, a net gain of $586. We expect to end the year with approximately $15,920 in cash. Our tax filing this year was a Form 990N, which is a simple form stating that we had less than $50,000 in revenue in 2023. We are not required to provide a complete financial report for tax filing. As many large donors consider a nonprofit's financial health a factor in making donations, it's in our interest to make a more complete financial report available. For 2023, the report was written by Ron and has not been audited. This report is available on GitLab. I move that the 2023 financial report be adopted.
I second that.
It's moved and seconded that the 2023 financial report be adopted. Does anyone have any questions or changes or any further discussion about the financial report? If there's no further discussion, it's moved and seconded that the 2023 financial report be adopted as presented. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no.
Aye.
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 Upon motion duly moved, seconded, and carried, it was resolved that the 2023 financial report be adopted as presented. Can I get a motion to discuss fundraising?
Moved.
Second.
Thank you. Our main focus for fundraising recently has been on a few government-funded open source institutions. The most relevant of these institutions are based in the EU, and some of them have preference for EU-based work. We've also applied to a US-based institution. The response to our proposals has been generally very positive. I'm very optimistic about our ability to get some funding from some of the European institutions. They seem to genuinely appreciate Redox and what we're trying to do. There seems to be a 4 to 6 month lead time from when we apply to when proposals might get accepted and get underway. We've also started contacting hardware vendors. That's just started. Our Patreon funding has been falling slightly over the last 12 months, and our efforts at promotion so far have not produced much results there. I'm hoping that having release 9.0 of Redox and then doing what we can to promote that release will bring more excitement and hopefully more small donors. With regard to our merchandise sales, we're still selling a few t-shirts per month. There seems to be a small correlation between our promotion efforts and our merchandise sales, but it's a little bit unclear how those are connected. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. We're working on sweatshirts and coffee mugs. I just got a first cut of the coffee mug, and I'll be asking the community for their thoughts on whether we should go with this or make some changes. And I'm hoping to see the sweatshirt next week. With regards to promotion activities, we are posting monthly newsletters on the work that's being done on Redox. They're getting picked up by Phoronix, which is a Linux online blog journal. And it's a very popular one amongst the Linux community. And they're actually being picked up very quickly after we post them. So that's very positive. And Jeremy is also posting on various social media accounts, and we're getting views through that mechanism. There seems to be more correlation between when Jeremy posts a link to our newsletter and the Teespring views, people coming in and looking at the t-shirts, than it is to the Phoronix, because the views seem to happen immediately after Jeremy posts about them. But it's depending on how quickly the Phoronix is, it's a little hard to tell exactly where those views are coming from. And there doesn't seem to be a very strong correlation between views of the merchandise and actual sales. The sales just seem to happen at random times. Regarding the proposals that we're doing, we're going to be doing a proposal for NGI Sargasso, which is a fund for projects between Europe and North America, and the German Sovereign Tech Fund, which is general open source funding. So we'll be doing those proposals over the next few weeks, and I've made some initial suggestions, and we'll need to have some discussion about the project content over the next few days. We're also trying to contact more hardware vendors, and Jacob has contact with a cloud provider, and we're open to other suggestions about corporations that could potentially fund Redox in some fashion. Does anyone have any concerns regarding the fundraising discussion? Any questions? Okay, can I get a motion to discuss the trademark?
Yep, moved.
Seconded.
Jeremy?
So Cosmic, the desktop environment by the company I work at, System 76, is using an unregistered trademark, and the Cosmic team has adopted a policy for it. We will have a link to the policy both in the script and in the meeting minutes. I propose that at this time we do not pursue trademark registration, and instead we use the policy that Cosmic uses, adapted for the Redox OS name.
So moved. Can I get a second?
Yep, seconded.
It's moved and seconded that we not pursue trademark registration at this time, and that we adapt the Cosmic trademark policy for use for the Redox OS name as an unregistered trademark. Does anyone have any questions or changes or further discussion about the trademark policy?
Would you like me to elaborate on the difference and the reason why Cosmic went with an unregistered trademark?
I think that would be good for documentation purposes.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yes.
So essentially, for Cosmic, the trademark has to cover Cosmic by itself, which is a very difficult thing to trademark because of its broad use if you go through the registration system. However, so long as you have a specific ecosystem that you're applying a name to, and you're applying it as an adjective, for example, the Cosmic desktop environment, or the Cosmic editor, Cosmic terminal, the unregistered trademark law provides almost equal protection to the registered trademark law. The difference would be that the registered trademarks can prevent other companies from registering the same trademark in the same space, and they usually get preferential treatment in any kind of dispute. However, the price for registering trademarks is significant, and the likelihood of being able to get a trademark is low. So before we had budgeted $4,000, the price is not going down. As time goes on, the price of IP law has risen. And also, the likelihood of getting trademarks has decreased. Redox OS would be applying for Redox OS as the trademark. And that would probably be an easier sell than Redox by itself, or than Cosmic by itself. It just, because the protection that an unregistered trademark gets is already something that I consider to be enough, and something that Cosmic considered to be enough, I think we can continue down that road of having an unregistered trademark. And later on, if we decide to, and if we have more budget for it, we can try to register the Redox OS name as a trademark. This is something also that System 76 did. The name System 76 was not trademarked for a long time and eventually became a trademark, was registered. And so after talking with Carl, the CEO, about the Cosmic trademark, I came to the conclusion that the Redox OS trademark probably does not have to be registered, and certainly does not have to be registered now. We can use our trademark policy, such as the one that's linked, and get protection and make sure that other organizations are not infringing on our rights while planning for going through the registration process some indeterminate time in the future.
Okay, that's great. Does anybody have any other questions or issues? If there's no further discussion, yeah, go ahead.
Just to be clear, the meaning of an unregistered trademark would essentially favor those who attempt to register a trademark by the same name. Did I understand that correctly?
To some extent.
It's complicated, but essentially, if we are using the trademark and selling things with the trademark, then it would be very unlikely that a company would be able to register it, because we would be able to say we're already marketing things using this name. So it's really a first come, first serve ecosystem, even if you're using an unregistered trademark. But in terms of the registration system, it just provides additional backup if you do get a registered trademark, that no company would be able to use it in the marketplaces that are actually covered by that law.
So an unregistered trademark is actually a common law trademark. So there's common law that applies. The registration system is governed by international agreements. So if you register an international trademark with the US government, then other countries will respect that. But the common law is different, slightly different in every country. In Canada, you have the common law for a trademark the same across the whole country. In the US, it's different by state. But the general rule in the US is that if it's an active community, then the trademark is treated as valid.
Yeah, this isn't something new for Cosmic either. GNOME uses an unregistered trademark as well. And again, the difficulty with GNOME's getting a registered trademark would be that name is one that has general usage. So that can differ for Redox OS, because I think Redox by itself would be something that we could trademark, but would be very difficult to register. Redox OS is a unique name that we could register. I just don't think it's worth the extra money for the limited amount of additional protection.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Beyond the trademark on the source code, there is the cheese spring products.
So there's two issues. One is copyright and the other is trademark, and there are two different ideas. So copyright is the actual image, or if you've written paragraphs, the actual content of the text. A trademark is the use of the image to represent your business or product. So the common law would protect us for the trademark. It's a little trickier with the image because we make the image available sort of as a Creative Commons kind of a thing. But we would be protected if somebody was pretending that that if they pretended to sell T-shirts as Redox T-shirts when in fact none of the donations were coming to us. So we would have some legal rights there.
The trademark policy from Cosmic basically states you can't use Cosmic unless it's officially associated with the project or you have permission. And if you are to use the logo to refer to Cosmic, then it has to be in a way that doesn't modify the logo. So it actually supersedes the copyright law for the image. The image can be one that you could modify and have free rights to, so long as you're not officially referring to the project. If you officially refer to the project, you have to use the image unedited. And so there's a logo section in the trademark policy that covers that.
Okay, any other further questions or comments? Okay, if there's no further discussion, it's moved and seconded that we not pursue the trademark registration at this time, and that we adapt the policy from Cosmic for Redox OS. Those in favor, as an unregistered trademark. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no.
Aye.
Aye.
Upon motion duly moved, seconded, and carried, it was resolved that we not pursue trademark registration at this time, and that we create a policy by adapting the Cosmic trademark policy for use by Redox, for the Redox OS name as an unregistered trademark. Just a quick comment. So the budget actually contains $5,000 to cover the cost of trademark registration. So that will increase our end of year cash to $20,920.
Yeah.
So we can update.
I would also comment that none of us are IP lawyers. So we are approaching this. If you hear anything in this that doesn't sound right, you can reach out to us. We aren't IP lawyers, so being corrected is always good.
Seconded.
Okay. Can we get a motion to discuss the website?
Moved.
Seconded.
Jacob?
Amazing. So there's just a few points from me. First of all, the website's coming together quite nicely. I've chosen to stick with the Hugo templating engine for now because it already exists, but I'd like to reconsider that in the future. Jeremy, I'd like your approval to get the content rolling, the structure, and how everything's organized. Yeah, just to get your seal of approval on that. Yeah, and then I'd thirdly like to also request some more time to finalize the cover scheme and the website's design. Excuse me, and the website's design, just to see what works best with Redox. Yeah, because I'm hoping that the design of the website will, at least for the near future, determine the Redox will go in visually, and whether the upcoming Cosmic integrations can help us shape the design language of Redox as a whole.
Yeah, I think they should definitely tie into each other, and we can deliver a customized theme so that the website matches up. And choosing that wallpaper image that we just chose is another big thing. It can swing into the website design, so all the screenshots look nice and everything just ties up very nicely. Because that's been the problem for Redox since 2015, is that the orbital launcher and the background have not been very high quality.
Just goes to show where our priorities lie.
Yeah. But that's changing very quickly.
Exactly. I'm in favor of focusing on visuals and design, as that will obviously increase the attractiveness towards people who might be interested in the project or potential sponsors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so Jacob, the current state of the website is that, and correct me if I'm wrong, the current state of the website is that it's ready for the content, English content, to be reviewed. Is that correct?
That's correct. So I've spent a lot of time with my marketing cap on, just to try and make it sound nice and professional. I would like to get everyone's opinion on that, and then we can start working on translating it into other languages.
I think it's totally fine to drop the translations and have a English-only version and rely on community translations.
Community
one big-
translations are good, but I believe it's best if we have a few, at least for the homepage or the community page, just a few official translations, just so that we're not spending too much time on translating the entire thing, but we're at least more accessible to people who might be curious.
Yeah, the issue I've seen in the past is that our website, it gathered about a dozen translations, and thanks to Alberto, the Portuguese translation is up to date, but most of the other ones are far out of date.
The problem of outdated translations is that they give very old information that after some time can't be reliable.
Exactly,
Yeah.
which is why we should focus on a few languages that we can easily get maintainers for. So in my case, that would be German. Alberto, in your case, that would be Portuguese. And if anyone speaks French here, that might be a good idea as well.
Yeah, we can assign maintainers to it, so we know people that we need to reach out to when we make website changes.
But I think focusing on that is quite important. I think we should, at least for the homepage, have a few separate languages.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay,
that's all
are
from me.
there any other questions or comments on the website or Jacob's report? There being no further discussion, I'd like to move on. I would like to propose the following agenda for the next board meeting to take place no later than September 30th. Approval of the minutes from this meeting, a report on the year-to-date finances, another report on the fundraising activity, a report on the trademark. Hopefully we will have a version of it at that point. A report on the website to give an update on the work that's going on. Is there any other business to discuss at this time or anything that needs to be added to the agenda? There being no other business, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
Seconded.
It's moved and seconded that we adjourn. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no.
Aye.
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 Thank you very much. The meeting's adjourned.